Okay, hopefully you guys can hear and see me. The girls are, I'm recording here because Zara is in the man cave while I was working and she fell asleep, right? And so Zeta is asleep in the other bedroom, so yeah, this is where I'm at. I don't want to wake Zarbine up. But anyhow, I did a video that I never did post because it was a very long video about is Seattle losing its momentum. And I put in that video, basically, the population's still growing there and there's still a lot of buzz and the city is still booming, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of things happening in Seattle that is making people who are looking to move here or who are already here thinking about a different option. You know, for example, they're trying to put a head tax on every person that works there because there's no income tax here in the state of Washington. So they're trying to put a head tax in the city limits, or maybe it's in King County. I'm not for sure. I think it's just only Seattle. That would affect big companies and small companies alike, potentially. But mainly big companies like Amazon, Microsoft, those types, right? So that's one issue that's really starting to annoy people. The other was putting toll roads in the middle of downtown, which would charge people to travel through that area at certain times of the day, which a lot of people didn't like that. All of these are still haven't been approved yet, but they're being pushed pretty heavily. The city of Seattle has pretty much kind of stopped the first hill, not the first hill, I'm sorry. There's two streetcar lines in downtown Seattle. One is the one that basically is the first hill, and it connects pretty much downtown all the way into the, what's it called now? I can't even think. The ID is one of the areas, but I can't think of it right now. I'll put it down in the description box. But it connects that area all the way up through, you know, Cap Hill and that type of thing, right? So it is disconnected from the existing South Lake Union line. So they were going to run a line up through First Avenue, which would basically run it right in front of Pike Place Market and all of that, and it would connect the two disjointed streetcar lines. Well, the city felt that it was a little too expensive, so they're putting that on hold and they're reviewing it to see if they need to, why the price keeps going up. And it seems to be very, very expensive, but again, construction in Seattle is very expensive. And then on top of that, the reason why I put also in the video is the cost to live there is so expensive that the momentum is starting to take a dip in terms of the population, people moving in, and the number of businesses that want to expand. It's just so expensive, right? Tacoma, and I told Noelle this about 3-4 months ago, Tacoma feels like it is Portland. Not quite a Seattle, obviously, but it feels like Portland. And I say that just been the year that I've been here, you know, and I used to put up videos saying, you know, the price is going up, you know, you guys, if you're thinking about moving here, you want to do it now. I don't do those anymore because it's just obvious, right? The prices here are going up faster than they are in any other part of the Puget Sound in many respects. There's other places where that's the case too, but when we're talking about bigger areas, Tacoma has taken a huge jump. It's got to play catch up. But there's a lot of things that's happening in Tacoma that makes it feel like it's getting close to being like a Seattle. We're in the early stages of it. I would say in the next 4 years, the city's going to be completely different in every aspect. You see a lot more of the mid-rise buildings, higher density going up all over the place. There's over a dozen different apartment developments going on right close to downtown. If not in downtown, like really close to it. The Hilltop neighborhood, which is a historically black neighborhood, which when people think of the negatives of Tacoma, they talk about Hilltop, or they don't realize that that's pretty much kind of where a lot of that was coming from. We're talking back in the 80s, early 90s. But that neighborhood has completely changed, is completely gentrified. And you're seeing how downtown is gentrified, and then up from there is Hilltop, and it's becoming majorly gentrified, pushing people and businesses out that have been there for decades. But in the mix of that, a lot of Seattle folks are coming down because you can buy a nice house for $300,000, right? Really, very little money, and you can buy a whole lot of house, comparing it to what you would get in Seattle, where you're going to pay at least double that to get a nice house. So you're starting to see people flood down here from Seattle because they can buy the homes, but the people who have been here forever can't afford it. And I have to say, we're kind of part of the problem too, Noelle and I, because down here houses are bargain, right? But up in Seattle, it's a little bit more pricier. Not many people are going to go for a house that's $800,000 when you can go down 35 miles south and get a house for half that, and you're going to get more house, less stuff to fix up on it, and you're going to get a lot more land. Now you're seeing a huge crop of businesses from Seattle coming down here. A lot of restaurants that exist up in Seattle are now, in the last year, have moved down here and calling Tacoma home. They never even thought of it. We even now have this eclectic furniture store downtown that, I mean, some of the pieces in there for a kitchen table is like $15,000 or something. And so this is a woman who had a store in Hong Kong, and she moved that store here in Tacoma. It's not even in Seattle, and one of the things that she mentioned is you get a whole lot of space. She has a huge area for her showroom. So that gives you an idea. Okay, I have to go and answer the phone real quick, but that gives you an idea. So now you're starting to see a lot of, and the restaurants are finding that it's easier to hire people, it's cheaper, you're getting more space for the price. And they can pay people a really good wage, which would still be less, a few dollars less than what they're paying people up in Seattle, but people here think it's amazing because typically restaurant places aren't going to pay you a whole lot of money, but it comes at a cost. It pushes a lot of people out. Even in our neighborhood here, you're starting to see the neighborhood change. From the time we moved in to now, you're starting to see things change. You're starting to see the Seattle effect in terms of landscape and in terms of improvements to homes, and you're just seeing them spruced up. A lot of homes can be bought so cheaply that you can then dump it and invest it into the home. I mean, that's something that we kind of do for a living, but you know, you can dump it into the home and improve it. So a lot of people are actually doing that, and you're starting to see more and more people move down here. I did a video that talked about Topgolf possibly coming to Tacoma. Things like that just boost up the appeal of Tacoma as well as housing cost. Then when you look at the mall that's coming downtown, you look at McMenamins that's doing their thing. Even the art museum downtown is doing a huge expansion that someone gave it. You know, the Sounders, their Major League Soccer, actually have their minor league soccer team coming here to Tacoma. And it's going to be a whole new soccer-specific stadium that's being built. All of these things, including the mall, the existing mall, Tacoma Mall, doing its expansion and renovations, adding in a whole brand new big movie theater there. Just tons of different things going on. It's making the city get a little bit more crowded. You're seeing much more traffic than, I mean, you can see it. Like in Seattle, I started noticing the traffic increasing. Here, I'm noticing more and more people downtown in bigger numbers, and I'm noticing more and more traffic. I'm noticing even on our street, more and more cars parked on the side of the road. When we first got here, you would see maybe 2 or 3. Now you're seeing like maybe double or triple that parked on the side of the road, and this is a purely residential street. So I think that Tacoma is starting to be more like Portland, Portlandia, if you will. And other people have said that. It's even in one of the newspaper articles saying the same thing. It's becoming more like a Portland. Especially another thing too that's making everything go up is Hilltop's getting the light rail line extension cutting straight through the middle of it. So everyone wants to locate there. There's going to be more and more people from Seattle and businesses coming to the area. It just makes a lot of sense. If you haven't actually looked into, if you're looking to move to Seattle, your better bet would be Tacoma. I've said that before, I'll say it again. That's why we did it, because money can go a whole lot farther. It's a lot easier. Businesses do it because it's not as much red tape, a lot easier in many aspects, a lot cheaper. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for the new location and everything, but gotta do what I gotta do. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.